When talking about Herodotus in these videos, I've been using the Andrea Purvis translation, which is printed in the Landmark series version of Herodotus. And that is a book that is well worth owning for its many pertinent maps that are tailored, each of them, to a specific period of history and are very helpful as visual aids to understanding what's going on geographically. So it's well worth owning, even if it is not to be consumed cover to cover. It's great to flip through, and it lends itself to a piecemeal enjoyment because Herodotus allows himself many deviations into descriptions of exotic cultures, as well as anecdotes that show us that he had personal relationships with people who were present at these events. And one of these anecdotes is the Feast of Attaginos. And this takes place just before the Battle of Plataea in the city of Thebes. And as we have already discussed, the defeat of the Persian navy at the Battle of Salamis prompted Xerxes to retreat from Europe and to return to Asia. However, he left his general Mardonius behind in Thessaly with a large army, and it was with this force that the Persians fought the Battle of Plataea. And the people of Thebes were friendly to the Persians, and when they came to the city, Herodotus writes as follows. A Theban named Attaginos, after making elaborate preparations, invited Mardonius himself along with 50 of the most noteworthy Persians to be his guest at a feast. And Attaginos did not have them recline separately, but had a Persian and a Theban sharing each couch. After dinner, as they lingered drinking, the Persian on the couch with Thersandros asked him in Greek what country he came from, to which he replied, Orchomenus. The Persian then said, Since you have shared with me a meal and libations, I would like to leave you with this insight of mine to remember me by, so that, being informed in advance, you will be able to make plans to secure a favorable outcome for yourself. Do you see these Persians dining here? And do you see the army we left camping by the river? Well, of all these men, you will see only a few surviving within a short time. And as the Persian said this, he began to sob and weep profusely. In amazement at what he had said, Thersandros asked, But should you not tell this to Mardonius? The Persian then replied, My friend, what has been destined to happen by the god is impossible for a mortal to avert by any contrivance, for no one believes even what trustworthy people say. And though many Persians know that this is true, we are bound by necessity to follow our orders. The most painful anguish that mortals suffer is to understand a great deal, but to have no power at all. So more than once in his histories, Herodotus invites us to learn from the wisdom of a Persian. And in these lines, we get something thematically similar to the Serenity Prayer that we're familiar with, except this Persian is having a hard time accepting the things he cannot change, which is to say that advice is easier to give than to receive, especially when death is coming. And in this case, even if the Persians were to win, death would still come to some of them because this is war. So if we wanted to turn the Feast of Attaginos into a parable, it seems to me that the Persian has only two choices: to cry during the feast or to find a way to enjoy it. It is part of human nature to always fret over doom. Aeschylus in his chorus at the beginning of the Persian says as much, when the chorus says, Now the spirit within me, all too ready to foresee evil, is troubled. It is perfectly natural for a person to always expect the worst. You either enjoy the Feast of Attaginos or you don't. That is what is truly in your control. And a consideration of all of this reminds me of John Dryden's translation of some lines from Horace written in Pindaric verse. Happy the man, and happy he alone, he who can call today his own, he who secure within can say, Tomorrow do thy worst, for I have lived today.